So welcome to number 20 on the Let's Talk Business Coaching webinar podcast series. I didn't realize we've gone this far, and that's 20 episodes, 20 weeks, my goodness. I was told, however, I think it's something like 85 days to Christmas now or something like that. I don't know, sorry about that. 85 sleeps. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But apparently in the UK, there's no turkey, no diesel, there's nothing, no fish fingers. There's nothing. So everybody's going to come back over to France for Christmas from the UK, maybe, but still, we'll see. If you can get here, you're really welcome. You're really welcome. Anyway, so the theme for this evening is USP. And this came to me. The reason I thought this might be helpful and be interesting for everybody on the call and those listening is because I was having a conversation end of last week. Yes, no sprouts, that's a good thing. Is because I was speaking to somebody last week and they just said in passing, so why should I hire you? Why should I buy from you? What's special about you? There's loads of coaches out there, loads of trainers out there, all this sort of thing. What makes you so special? And I thought it caught me unawares because obviously I'm special and unique and amazing, but it's in my mind, not their minds to a certain extent. So it's just that sort of exploring that concept of when somebody says to us those words, why should I buy from you? Why should I hire you? What makes you special? What do you say? How do we sort of handle that? Because I think this goes through a lot of people's minds. I think for all of us, we're in a similar sector, and there's lots of us out there. There's lots and lots of coaches out there. There's life coaches, there's business coaches and presentation coaches, all that sort of thing. There's a lot of people doing fabulous work out there in coaching. Lots of amazing people doing amazing work. And there's some that maybe aren't, and maybe don't let the sector down a little bit, as happens in all sectors. I think the challenge is for prospects and clients, they don't know that they don't know how to sort of tell the difference. They can't tell how amazing you are unless we show them and demonstrate it to them. So it's that when somebody says to you, yes, so great to meet you, what's special about you? How do you handle that? Any thoughts, any ideas? Just chip in as you go along. I mean, Kev, you're special and unique. You've been special from school, so I understand.
Yeah.
In a good way. But yeah. How did you respond to that? What do you think? What is your uniqueness as a coach and as a business person?
As a business person, multiple business owner.
Yeah.
Dozen businesses.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last 5 that I've had, because I can't say that it happened in the first 7.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about that type of stuff then. But the last 5 have all operated at way above industry standard profit margins.
Right. Okay.
So and that's allowed me to put together a unique system for coaching my clients.
Okay, so it's your sort of experience, background, results, outcomes. Then you bottled that experience into a product, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but great, got it. That makes absolute sense. I think it has to be. I think it has to be our experience and background, because all of us can go on the similar, I suppose, training course or program or whatever it is, and come up with a bit of paper that says we've been trained or certified. Yeah. I think what we bring to it, though, as you say, is our life experience, business experience, professional experience, the ups and the downs and the sideways as well. So, okay, brilliant. Thank you. Claudia, how would you respond? I know you're unique as well, but how would you respond to that?
As we are all, actually.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness. What makes me special? I think I have also varying business experience in terms of working for large corporations, but also startups that went IPO.
Yeah.
I was in the engineering world, in the consulting world, in the sales world, but also the fact that I lived in multiple countries on 2 continents.
Yeah.
And I think especially coming here to Europe, that I really worked in the US and in Canada, I think can be a differentiation over here. Also, I think here in Luxembourg in particular, it's that I can actually coach in 3 languages.
Right.
So if I go into a team situation, yes, if everything in the company runs in English, the group meetings would be in English, but maybe on the one-on-one meetings, people might be more comfortable in their own language.
That's a great point. Yeah. Okay.
I coach in Luxembourgish, English, obviously, German and French.
Wow. Okay. So this is, although that is, again, it is a uniqueness. Absolutely right. So language plus So it's this sort of skills plus background as well, to a certain extent. Okay, great. Okay, Phil, another very special person. How do you handle that sort of not objection, but that sort of question in the sales process?
Well, the last time I did it was tail end of last week when somebody said, I'm just comparing you with other agencies.
Right.
And I said, well, you know, when the other agencies offer you a choice of packages.
Yeah.
She said, yeah. I said, well, you've got the one that doesn't offer you very much, one that offers you some, and one that offers you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you only want one thing from the package that offers you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She said, yeah, that's right. I said, well, I'm different from them. I only do one package.
Okay.
And that's your package.
I say it's like bespoke, made to measure. Okay, got it. So it's uniqueness of the offering to a certain extent.
Yeah, because I know that when people would in the business that I'm in internet marketing, somebody comes to you and says, I want Facebook marketing and Google marketing or Google advertising.
Yeah.
So you then say, well, are you marketing on Facebook? Are you advertising on Facebook, or are you just want content provided for you?
Mm-hmm.
With Google advertising, you do know that you have to do some search engine optimization on your website and your content as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that normally comes as a surprise to them,
Right.
because the other agencies haven't said anything about SEO when they say, oh, I'm looking for Google advertising.
Mm-hmm.
They never mention SEO.
Sure.
So you've then got the flexibility then to say, right, we can do Facebook marketing, we can do Google advertising, but you must bear in mind that we have to include some search engine optimization.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a list of the stuff that we're going to do for you.
So is that something that, again, because I don't know, is that something that other agencies don't do? Is that truly unique, that offering from you?
For the smaller businesses, they will offer, because of they're not really that interested in the smaller businesses. They're more interested in the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen on websites, they've got the basic package, the standard package, and enterprise call us for a quote.
Yes.
The enterprise call us for a quote is for the big boys.
Right. Okay.
That's where you have to stand up and do a presentation, and probably you have to fill in an RFP form as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas you've got the basic and the standard package, and they're not interested in actually doing anything out with those packages.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the smaller businesses suffer a bit from that lack of flexibility.
And what would you say if somebody said, okay, I understand your package and programs, but what about you as an individual, you as a business owner, entrepreneur? What is your differentiator out there? What are you unique for?
My personality more than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. Yeah, no, yeah, it is for all of us. But yeah, okay.
I'm responsive. I'm also available and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to discuss your requirements at all times.
Yeah.
It's also a proven track record in management, having served in the Royal Air Force for 10 years and having worked with one of the major financial houses in Luxembourg for a number of years. Yeah,
because you've been sort of through the corporate route as well. Was it Clearstream for you in Lux?
Yeah, Clearstream.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've been doing what I do for more than 16 years, quite successfully.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And Marie, why are you unique? I know you are. But how do you handle that sort of approach?
So unlike you guys, I mean, I have a lot of experience in the business side of things, but I'm a life coach, so that's not helping. I can say that I have life experience, but so I'm doing two things. I'm doing kind of classical coaching, and I have another aspect when I'm coaching single women who are unhappy of being single. So for these aspect of things, I can bring my knowledge, I can bring my own experience, I can bring everything. I've walked in their shoes, so I can sell that in a way. For the life coaching, I think I'm betting more on my personality. So in my case, they will be more I'm doing stuff around the law of attraction as well.
Yes.
But my big selling point, I think, on those two things is to be very down to earth. Being very genuine and realistic, and it out differentiating me. On the other hand, some people are like, what do you mean I'm going to work? It's like, what? I thought we would do like spiritual stuff, and that's it. And my humor. I think that's
Yes.
the two things I'm betting on.
I think that's a really good point you make. I think this humor, or the ability to bring a bit of brevity and lightness to conversations, whether it's humor. We're not in the we're not comedians, but I do find that most people in their leadership or coaching, consulting world, if they can bring, at the appropriate time, a lightness of touch, it sort of breaks the atmosphere to a certain extent. I had a client in a consultant who was on a call yesterday, and he's in the UK. So I said, how's your week? And he went, well, he said, we've got no diesel, no petrol, no turkeys, no chocolate, this, and everything. There's a whole list of things that have just gone wrong in his whole week. And I said, yeah, but okay, well, apart from that, how was your week? And he's like, well, apart from that, it's been great. But he was really sort of low down. Now, by the end of the conversation, I think we got him back up again, because it was a tough week. And I think one of the tricks for us, I think as coaches, is not to collude with our clients, not to always match their energy levels, but to have that the mid-range level of energy. I think humor or the lightness of touch, or seeing the not the funny side, but the humorous side of things, or getting them to smile, I think it's a gift. I think obviously you have it. I think it's a real gift that not everybody has that. I think that's a definite uniqueness as well. So how does this appear in your in your marketing when you put things out on website, social media, LinkedIn, videos, content? Do you express this personality, experience, and background out there at all, or do you do enough of it, maybe, or not enough, do you think?
I'm not doing it enough, clearly, but that's why my next project is to do videos, to kind of put more my personality first.
Yeah.
So far in what I'm doing, like in my website and everything, is more the tone, and it's also the fact that I'm not selling any package. So I'm literally selling for the coaching only. I'm literally selling just session by session, which is really like, we are both genuine to each other. If it's not working, we let us know. But apart from that, we work together. And because there are a lot of coaches who are selling packages, even for life coaching, which I still don't understand how they do that.
No.
And I just don't want that for my client. I just want to be like, if you're happy with me, we continue. If you find it's not helping, we just stop. Or if I find we are not a good match, then
I think it absolutely works both ways. I mean, this is something there's been sort of this debate out there in coach world, I guess, about selling a bundle of number of sessions or whatever it is, that type of thing. I've never really understood it. It's almost like going to the doctor and saying, well, I want to come and see you 4 times and that's it. Well, what happens if it's not, you don't get what you want or what you need in those 4 sessions? If it takes 5 or 6, is that it? You disappear or whatever it is. So I think this sort of general, more open relationship with people is a better way of doing it. But for you, it's videos, more video content for you to explore your sort of personality more. Okay.
And last week I got invited my first podcast. So
well done.
Yeah, it was really nice. But so I think my humor, because I can't differentiate myself from my humor, so I guess it's in there as well. So hopefully it will help me advertise this side of things.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, who was the sort of the host?
The Insights something podcast. I will let you know. Sorry, I'm super tired.
No,
it's Paul Eager. I got it. Paul Eager. And where
can we find it? Is it on your LinkedIn?
It's still not there. He is working on editing the podcast. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Hopefully sometime this week.
Perfect. Well, please send it around and we'll circulate it and make you famous for it, which would be absolutely great. But I think video is a great way of getting knowledge and experience out there. Because I found, and for me as well, I think one of the things I found and it was never by design really, and Kev, this probably resonates with you to a certain extent as well, is obviously Lynn and I run the business together and we've been together since we were kids and all this sort of thing. And if I put a post up that here's me and I call Lynn the blonde one because she is out and about doing this, that they sort of get to know us as a pair, and we're a unit, and Lynn does all the operations, as you know, and I do the front of house stuff. But there's that sort of, that's a uniqueness, I think, for us at least, that we operate as a, you know, husband and wife team. She's my boss, clearly, but that's unique. So I think you can bring personal stuff into it as well. And you'll never see Lynn doing a video or a podcast. I sort of grab her and do a quick photograph. That's not her a happy place at all. But it's one of those things. I put a post up on, I think it was on LinkedIn, on Facebook as well. It's our 35th anniversary this weekend, and that's got, I know, I get a long service medal and that sort of thing for that, or Lynn does certainly. But it does resonate with people. What I find is the people we attract as clients and collaborators tend to be, you know, the long-term relationship type people. They just do is who we tend to resonate with, so that can really work as well. But so videos for you, excellent, good job for that. Claudia, how about you? Are you visible enough, do you think, with your USP? Because I mean, it is a very unique, multinational, multilingual, you know, fabulous experience. Is it really shining bright enough?
I am in the beginning stages,
yeah.
And my website right now is down, and it has been down for a while because this exact question has been going round and round in my head.
Right.
Because, you know, I have studied a lot, and especially with coaching, let's say I could life coach everybody and their dog, right?
Yeah.
But is that really, I have to figure out for myself where the focus is, and who really I would really love to coach, and where I could add the most value. And so I find it extremely challenging to really get to that one point, and then also, especially with the USP, to really get it concise and like one sentence, really, what is it that you do?
Yes.
It's really a challenge, and it has been going round and round and round in my head for a while now. And but it will flavor everything. That's why I do not rush through it, because it's going to flavor the tone of your website, how you present yourself, who you're talking to, who will ultimately you know, feel attracted to the offerings that you do. And I absolutely agree also with Marie that we should not, you know, it also needs to incorporate us as a person, because ultimately what is the most important thing differentiating me from the guy, the coach next door, as you can say nowadays, is literally you know, the rapport that we can build, my you know, how clients can how we click, and how I coach, because you know, just go to any coaching seminar and watch demonstrations, and so everybody is vastly different.
Absolutely.
Even if they apply the same tools, their energy is different, their ability to build rapport is different, levels of empathy, of mirroring, all these things that are innate, that have to do with really the attitude of the coach, are very different, and that is not necessarily straightforward to let come across on a website or whatever. So what Marie does, for instance, was putting in video to show her in action and let her personality sparkle. I think that is a really interesting thing. And you know, nowadays, thank God, in the digital world, we are not limited to text and images, or just a voice. We can have other media there. So frankly, I do not know yet.
No, it's work in progress. But I think it's one of those things that our sort of personality, and I think we need to put our personality out there, whether it's our interests, our hobbies, our background, or whatever. Because I think what we do is we send a sort of message out. This energy goes out into the universe, and some people don't like it. I know some people believe that, you know, coaches should wear a navy blue suit, white shirt, red tie, black shoes, and whatever. And I don't. So if you want a coach that's wearing a suit, I'm not your guy. You know, that's just one of those things, and that's fine. So that gets rid of some people. It's a filter. But I think when we put out there our not just our experience, but our personality, our likes, our dislikes, and things we get up to, that builds a very rounded picture. Because I think we're in the relationship business, then people want to have a relationship with people they can resonate with at some level. And so, yeah, I think we've got to put it out there. And that's why, we post pictures up of, we're on the beach with the grandson, or we're traveling, we're doing this, and we're out we found this restaurant over the weekend that is actually in Germany, but you can't drive to it. You can only get to it from a French road because the border goes through the car park. So it's really odd. It was an old smuggler's anyway, and that intrigued me. That's gone up on that's going to go out there and this sort of thing as well. Lynn said I can't take photographs of us having dinner for our anniversary, so I've been banned from doing that, and rightly so. But I think these sort of things, they do resonate with people to a degree, and that people sort of warm towards us. So yeah, great, but work in progress.
Can I just mention one?
Yeah, of course.
Thing? In today's world, I think it's also unfortunately necessary that we tell people what kind of a coach we are.
Yeah.
Because everybody is a coach,
Yeah.
right? And the word coach is being abused. So nowadays, if you're actually a coach's coach, a true coach, you actually have to emphasize that you cannot just imagine that people do not expect you to be a semi-therapist, advisor, consultant, whatever. But if you do coaching, you have to really say, this is the kind of coaching where you do the work.
Yes, absolutely.
Thing, right?
Yes.
And I think sometimes it because there are so many, how I call them, straw and chicken wire coaches out there. It's also, I think, sometimes a differentiator if you are certified, if you have really done formal coaching training for a long time. So
sure. I think as well, again, I think for all of us, one of the differentiators can be not what we say about ourselves, but what our clients say about us as well. As you get more experience and more sort of traction in the market, testimonials and that sort of thing can be very, very powerful. Because if I say I'm a genius, well, that's great, but I'm in sales mode. If one of my clients says this guy's okay, whatever, then that counts for a lot more than me saying anything. Also, testimonials can be very good, like validation, I guess. Great, good, thank you. And Kev, how are you doing? I know you're a bit about your background, obviously, but do you make enough of it? Do you think? Is he really out there strong enough to pull people through?
Probably not. I mean, we do a lot of videos, and we did go down the path. Although it seems to come to a grinding halt with the Mr. and Mrs. videos.
I've seen a few of those. I thought they were very cool, actually.
Pretty well received, but she stopped talking to me. So
let's do subtitles now instead.
so they ground to a halt. So it's actually strange. I was only thinking, yes, we need to resurrect those again.
Yeah.
So no, I probably don't shout from the rooftops about my difference or my, but it doesn't get in my way.
Sure.
Things, like the two startup group, like Claudia and Maria. One of the things sometimes there's a book that I read called The Prosperous Coach, which was by Steve Chandler, which is he's a life coach, stroke business coach, and his thing was that the way to get your name out there as a coach is to have coaching sessions, hold powerful coaching sessions. So your aim should be to have conversations. And one of the ways of doing that is to turn around and say, I coach people for free, but I'll give you a couple of coaching sessions, but at the end of it, I want a testimonial. That's the price of the coaching. And then that gives you the social proof to then go on and put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it does count. I think one of the differentiators in what is, and I think for all of them, Phil, I know you're on the on the edge of coaching. I know you use coaching as a tool within your business, but you're more on the marketing approach. But there's a lot of people out there that say they do what we do, and this sort of, how do you differentiate how people select us, and it's based on what people say about us as well. So okay, and Phil, I know you've got an interesting background as well. You've been in rockets and planes through to Clearstream, through to all sorts of things. Do you feel that's really visible enough to make a big splash in the market? Is that something you would want to do more of?
You can never do enough marketing.
Yes, true. Yes. Well, you're slightly biased there, I think, Mr. Taylor, but you're right. Yeah.
I don't think my personality is out there enough. Mainly because when I start doing stuff on social media, I tend to be very dry with not the subject, but my sense of humor, and it doesn't always translate into the written word.
Yeah.
Because the problem with the written word is that you don't convey emotion.
Yes.
The emotion has to be imagined by the receiver.
Yeah.
So if, like Marie, you're doing video, you can get the emotion across much better than you can get it across in text.
Yeah.
So yeah, my personality is not out there enough.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things. I think we do. I think all of us, we assume, because we know us, that of course we're different, unique, and special. We're doing great work. We're doing this. We're doing that. It's obvious, but actually, it's not. People they judge us, and it was really interesting. I had a chat with another guy earlier on today who wants to do some work with us, and he'd never heard of me, which I'm not. Of course, nobody's ever heard of me, but I had to start from scratch, and he literally said, "Well, what do you do? Where are you?" And it's like, crikey. And I had to think, because I'd assumed that, because we're all visible, that he knew all these of me and Lynn and France and Luxembourg and the UK and USA. And I had to sort of build this storyboard saying, well, we started here, we did this, we did that. And, and all our stories can take a long time to tell because we've all done a lot of stuff. But that was a bit of not a shock. It was like, oh, crikey. I had to sort of reel it all the way back again. And I think having that out there, that sort of speeds up the process. Because, my background, I put a post up about, I don't know if you saw it at all, was about the Yamaha, the R1 motorbike with the cross-plane crank, which is I'm an engineer. This thing, I love this sort of thing. And other people go, oh my God, there's glaze over and fall asleep. And I get it, absolutely. But, if I put that out there, all the engineers pile in. And they find it amazing, the difference with the crank planes and the secondary vibrations and all this sort of thing. That to me is really, really interesting. Other people, it's not, but I think that's what we need to emphasize. That's what you're going to get when you work with me or with Claudia or Maria or anybody. That's what you're going to get. Here's my style. Here's my interests. And so we've got some interest from engineers now as well, which is really cool. But I think it's basically do more. I think, Phil, you're right. Do more marketing. But what marketing would you recommend? And this is not a plug for you, Phil, but is it? It can be. But generally, is it social media? Is it video? Is it podcasts? Is it be on stage? Or is it just yes to all of them? Do you think? What would you advise?
It's yes to all of them in a general sense. Yeah. Find what you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. If you're comfortable with the written word supported by images, then do that. But bear in mind what the limitations of each of them are, because with video, the limitation you have there is they see your video, but that's all they see. Mm-hmm. They don't know much more about you just from the video. Yeah. If you're comfortable being on stage, go on stage, but remember that you've got to get the audience there. Yeah. And so that means you've got to do something else to get the audience there. Mm-hmm. So it's knowing the limitations of each of the marketing types that you do. Yeah. The other thing is to know which channels you want to be on. I don't mean BBC or ITV. I mean Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, all those ones. Don't forget Google search results as well, mm-hmm. Because they can bring you a lot of business without you necessarily knowing about it. Yeah. Unless, of course, you're watching your analytics on your websites and social media. Sure. But it's start with what you're comfortable with and try and stretch yourself a bit. Yeah. So if you're not comfortable in front of a camera, get comfortable in front of a camera. Yeah. That's good.
I mean, how many people do you find that don't like being on camera or feel uncomfortable being on camera? Because I mean, I'd say 90%, but is that your experience as well? Feeling you're also more close to that market than I am. Yes. Most people are not comfortable. There are those also who have a bit of overconfidence, who think they are comfortable. Yes. And then when they get in front of a camera, they dry up. Right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Or they're not prepared. One of the things I did have a client who was a wealth manager, he called himself. And he wanted to do a video. And when I explained the cost of the video and all the rest of it, I said, the alternative is me and a camera. And he said, all right, I'll go with you and a camera then. I said, well, what I want you to do is answer these 5 questions. Mm-hmm. So that when I come along with the camera, we set everything up. You answer the 5 questions in front of the camera. I go away and edit it and deliver the final video. Yeah. So I turned up, set up the camera and everything, sat him down, and I said, all right, off you go.
Oops.
Silence. Done no preparation whatsoever.
Wow.
And I said, well, you know, I will ask you the question. You
Yeah.
answer the question. So I'm off camera. I ask the question again, silence. And at the end of the session, which was about half an hour, 40 minutes,
Yeah.
didn't actually record anything. I said, you know, you've just wasted 2 hours of my time.
Yeah, my goodness. But so was this just a nerves thing, or lack of preparation, or overconfidence, or mix of all things?
Overconfidence. I'm being kind when I say overconfidence.
Right. Okay.
And it's the never say die. It's a never say die attitude in somebody that didn't quite work.
Okay.
Some people will have the confidence to be in front of the camera and pull it off without any preparation, but he wasn't one of these people.
Yeah, I'm told I can do that, but I'm concerned it's called bullshitting. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go with spontaneity. I'm going to go with rather than that. That's my choice of words anyway. So okay.
Well, a couple of times. There was once where I was at a thing at the ambassador's residence here. It must have been about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was Jim Kent came up, and I didn't know him at the time, and he just shoved a microphone under my nose and asked a question.
Right. Yes.
The next thing I know, I'm on the local radio.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the same thing happened after a rugby match in Dublin. The BBC came up. I didn't know they were the BBC. They just came up with a camera and some lights, asked a question. I answered it.
Yeah.
Later on that evening, I was on the phone to my mom, and she said, "Oh, I saw you on telly, the news earlier on."
Uh-oh. Hair, makeup. Yeah, check the sorry, Claudia, you had, I think, a point to bring.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a semi-professional photographer, and I specialized in profile pictures and business shots and stuff like that. So a profile picture essentially is from here to half of the head cut off, so that even if it's reduced to pinpoint like that, you can still kind of recognize features. And so all you have to express yourself with is just your expression on your face, because it's not supported by, let's say, the way you dress, the way you use accessories or whatever, and it's usually a plain background, so also the environment doesn't come into play.
Sure.
And sometimes I had to take about 200 pictures in the studio with the strobes going off before people could actually start forgetting the camera.
Right,
and get to the natural expressions and really become, drop all of that. It's just such a foreign moment for us when we're in front of the lights and the big things and with this big lens shoved in your face, right? So it sometimes that's what it takes. And I used to just keep up a banter and just click away. And after a while, that all just became background. Right, and so maybe some people, when they start with doing videos, they should just give themselves a chance to get used to the camera in their face and the lights and the setup, and not get discouraged the first 2, 3, 4 hours that they're doing it, but just keep at it. And I'm sure by the time the third day comes around, they become more comfortable and better able to do it. It's not necessarily something where the first 5 minutes, where even with preparation, incidentally, that you can have a nice naturally sounding banter going on.
Sure. But I guess with your background of photography, that I'm going to say a bad photo, I don't mean a bad photo, but a non-representative photo is worse than no photo, I guess, because it gives a false impression or a false image. And same with video. If you put a video out there and you're hesitating or you're not fluid with your voice and all this type of thing, then it gives a negative sort of connotation for you, I suppose, as well.
It's better not to do it then, especially since what would come across in those first 50 images, something would just be terror.
Yeah. Yes.
I was just like, oh, dear, the headlights kind of thing. Yet even if you plaster a smile on your face, it's somebody who really looks will see that your eyes still, are fearful eyes and stuff. That's not how you want to represent.
I did some years ago now. I was invited to do it was for not exactly a TV channel, but it was a documentary for an organization anyway. And the idea was to go meet this guy who must have been mid-80s, and he was a very experienced, lovely guy, experienced guy, and drive him around in what was his first car, and it was a big Austin Cambridge thing from the 1960s, I think it was. Anyway, so I'm driving this car around. It wasn't his; we rented it. He's sat next to me in the UK. And the idea is, he's got a cameraman in the back seat, lying on the back seat with his sound thing up, all this sort of stuff, and the camera on the dashboard, whatever it is. And the idea is, I'm going to be talking to this guy. So we're driving along through Oxford, I think it was, and I'm going, so, you know, what did you think when you sort of saw this car again? Did it bring some memories back for you? And he's going, you want to slow down here? He said, slow down. There's a bus coming. He was not talking to me at all. He was just trying to drive the car, and it took a whole day to get about 20 minutes of footage without him in panic mode as I was driving this thing. You only go 25 miles an hour, but anyway, it was funny, but it was a long day to get 25 minutes. But as you say, you've got to get people who are comfortable with the camera, and I find these things, I feel, as you were saying, you give somebody a microphone and they just literally clam up. They don't like microphones at all. They don't know what to say and that sort of thing. What is your, I mean, from Claudia, from your experience, how do people overcome that? Because it is a key skill, either to become more, you know, photogenic or good on video or good with a mic. What can they do, do you think? How did you do it? I mean, what was your experience?
Well, I just really built rapport with them, so that later on they saw me as the photographer with a good intention and with good you know, guidance and so on. But everybody is photogenic if they're authentic.
Yes, a great point.
That is the point, that you should not try to project something that you're not, because that's going to come across as being fake.
Yes,
and a facade, and it's going to be absolutely visible.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just if you're a humorous person, be humorous. If you're a confident person, just throw it out there.
Yeah.
If you're introverted, that's fine too. You know, if it's fine. Whatever it is, just be yourself. But that is the absolute hardest thing.
Is it true people have a good side and a not so good side from a photographic point of view?
It can be actually. And incidentally, most people part their hair, if they have some, on the side that's their better side, so that the hair, the extra hair falls on the side that they're maybe less.
Oh, so this is my best side, is it? This is as good as it gets. Or
your sides are all great.
Oh, you're my favorite person now. You're very kind. You're very kind.
You just need a good photographer to you know, sometimes it's also the way the light is set up and things like that. I mean, you know, it's an art in itself.
Sure. And so, and Kev, I know you do a lot of videos. Are you comfortable? Now you are, but were you comfortable with video when you first started out, or is it a learned habit for you?
I wasn't comfortable.
No,
I don't think I still am, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I still have to wind myself up to do one.
Right.
I think I've got a good face for radio.
No comment.
I have got a part in, by the way.
I was going to say, you've got the part, so this is your good side as well.
But it's not on that. It's not a brushed in one. It's because we've also got a shortage of hairdressers over here. And I went to the hairdressers yesterday, but it was closed because one of the hairdressers got COVID.
Crikey, so, no diesel, no petrol, no hairdresser, no turkey. There's nothing going on in the UK now. Crikey.
I still. We talked about the human thing before.
Yeah.
On my own, when I'm on a video on my own, I tend to be more straight-faced and there's a lack of humor, perhaps.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
But when I was doing the Mr. and Mrs. videos, because I had someone to hit off against, and the humor sort of shone through a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm more comfortable in probably doing those when I'm being interviewed, perhaps, or if I've got someone on the other end of the video. Yeah.
I had some feedback once. I think it was a workshop I did, and I was sort of talking away, and there were people obviously on the workshop, but they were all muted and the cameras are off, and I'm chuntering away to myself, telling what I think are particularly humorous stories and laughing to them myself as I'm going along. And the guy at the end said, you like your presentation, don't you? I said, well, of course I do. He said, well, nobody else does anyway. But it's the humor thing. But I think, Kev, you're right. Really good, interesting to have a sparring buddy on there. At least you can, have a joke with them. That might help on the humor side as well. So yeah. Good point. Okay, great. So Marie, for you, what's your style of video going to be? Are you will you allow your humor out? Are you going to interview other people, or be more sort of solo on your content?
So for now, the idea is to do short videos on specific topics.
Okay.
I think I'd start simple with like, what is coaching? What do I do? This kind of thing. And I don't know if you saw it. I asked on LinkedIn and other social media if people had any question they have ever wanted to ask to a life coach.
Okay.
So the idea is really that is like to answer, people's question about what it is and how it works and this kind of thing.
What's your? I know we're all different flavors and styles, if you like, but specifically on the life coaching side, what is people's perception, in your view, of life coaching now? I think everybody's got a view on it, what it is and what it's not. What is your take on that?
So it's funny because that was one of the first questions of the podcast as well. It was
right.
like, oh, if a friend can do it, why would I pay you to do the same? It's
Right.
this idea that you just go to a life coach and you just talk to her or him,
Yeah.
and that's it. They don't really have, it's like talking to your friends. It's like this idea that we're gonna be friends and that we're just gonna talk together. Like they don't have this
Right.
idea that there is a technique, that there is
Yeah.
like a process behind it, and
Absolutely.
that even though I love my clients to bits, but like we are not friends, there is still this barrier of I like you, I want you to be successful, but I don't think I can call them my friends. Like it's a completely different role. So
Sure.
yeah, I would say that's the biggest misconception. Misconception number 2, anybody can be a life coach. And I have seen it from my training. I think it really does require a certain set of skills and a certain personality that not everybody has, unfortunately.
I mean, I see, and this is not a dig at life coaches, but I do see a lot of people coming to the life coaching world where, well, being blunt, they haven't had a life themselves yet. And I don't know whether that makes them a really good coach because they don't see all the same stuff that everybody else sees and they come in from a pure coaching point of view, or whether or not. But I do wonder whether people have to have a few, knocks and grazes and grey hairs, if you like, to be able to bring experience to the questioning and the depth of the coaching they can do. But I think, as I say, for you, your sort of personality and style is what's going to sort of set you aside, I think, in the market.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, okay. Well, it will. It is. We look forward to your first. We've got the podcast, and then when's your first video coming out? Then, because we can coach you through this. As you got.
That's a good question. No, I'm going in holiday on Friday actually, so probably middle of October or something like that.
Okay, excellent. So by 15th of October, we'll have your first video up on YouTube, and we'll all circulate it around.
We'll help you to it.
Yeah, exactly. We've got your accountability team here for you. See, so this is great.
Thank you.
Don't read the script.
Yeah, exactly.
I
don't do
can't
this.
do that. Yeah, no, I really can't do that. And I see it on some videos. I find it so cringy. I can't really.
Yeah. David has a way of doing videos which is quite good, or at least doing the short presentation. Try and make 3 or 4 points only and don't do any more than that, and list them at the beginning, because that triggers in your mind what you're going to be talking about for the rest of the video.
Yeah. And then I find that to be like a defense mechanism, actually. If I say, here's the 4 principles of whatever it is, and then when I know, but also what I found, again, as Phil's mentioned, for me is if I've got 4 points to cover off, I've got a half an hour presentation to do, I can time myself sort of, 7 minutes a pop, if you like. So after 7 minutes to finish the first one, then 14, and away we go. So I can then time it through to a certain extent. But that sort of framework, rather than just me rambling on for weeks on end, which I can do, it's a relief to, because everybody knows when the presentation's coming to an end as well, because they get to point number 4 and they go, thank goodness for that. We can go and get a cup of coffee now. It's just a relief for everybody.
One of the things you need to know about video on the likes of YouTube is that you can now section your video so that people on YouTube can go to particular sections. Right. And you have to optimize then have to optimize the video for it. So you have to say what the sections are, and by giving a subject heading, and then YouTube splits them up into the component parts. And if you watch some videos, particularly the how-to videos, you can see the progress bar, and you can see how far through each individual section you are.
In the reports afterward. Okay.
So
thanks for the tips.
Do you have a YouTube channel, Marie? Is this
Yes, it's empty, but it's there.
It's got potential. It has potential.
Yeah.
That's what it's got.
It exists.
It's there. The law of vacuum will fill it for you now. There you go. You're good, you see. It's great.
If you do want to use a script, there's a really good app that you can get. It's called Prompt Smart.
Okay.
And it's like a teleprompter app, but it's voice recognition, so it follows your voice. So you can look at it and speak what you're going to speak, and it'll and then you go to the next point, and you just have a quick flick at it every now and then, and it'll
To put it onto the screen in front of it, does it?
Yeah, and it will just follow your voice. It tracks you.
Okay, interesting. I think one of the tricks that, again, is something that I've learned, is that when I'm doing a conversation like this, I'm not looking at my screen. I spent my whole day looking at a little blue and black dot on the wall. Look at the camera. I think it's absolutely fine to sort of look away occasionally in this sort of thing. As you say, you can check on your teleprompter, but a lot of people, when they do a video, they are looking down and around, and with no eye contact. Even on video, I find that quite off-putting if there's no or little eye contact as well. I think the way to pick it up, the way I've sort of figured out a style, is look at other good people on YouTube doing good video work and see what I like about it, what I don't like about them. And I like that sort of energy, humor, eye contact. So I attempted to mimic that to a certain extent. Okay, so any questions for anybody while we're all together? We've got some fabulous people on the call. So any questions from and to anybody at all?
Talk today about the USP.
Yeah.
And the USP usually is like a very short one sentence catchphrase, or it's like literally like what the client wants, who my client is, and how I can like with a certain degree of differentiation follow it, right?
Yeah.
So in the whole like coming to grips with your own message, would you go general idea, condensed idea, elevator pitch, USP, or how does that, in your experience, also working with businesses, kind of go into progression? Because I think getting it into those 5, 6, 7 words so concisely, I think that's probably something that will take me a while, for instance.
I think it depends on in my experience, on the target. So if I'm working with, if my niche is accountants or lawyers or whatever it is, then my tagline would be specific to doctors or medical practitioners, and it would be, I'm just ad-libbing now, but it would be David Horn MBA, and it would be helping doctors get their life back, or whatever it is, something like that, because then doctors would resonate with that, whereas maybe dentists wouldn't and lawyers wouldn't, and this sort of thing. So if I've got a niche I'm really focusing on, I think I'd term it towards that. For me, I've chosen the business co-pilot, because that's quite general, but I think it does hopefully gives people a sense that I sit alongside them in their business and I help them, pilot it. It goes with the rocket thing that we've got and all that sort of fits. And that, of all the ones I've used over the years, that one has been the one that's been best received. Because people said, oh, I understand what that means. You sort of sit next to us, you help us, you guide us, but we're still in control. Is that right? Absolutely. Yeah, you're in control. I'm the co-pilot. I'll pick up the stick if you're going into a nosedive, but after that, you're okay. So I've used that because we're in a general field. If we look then for sort of a tagline or something, I went to a BNI group over in virtual BNI group in the UK. It was in London, I think, Boreham Wood or something. Anyway, and they said my tagline was, all my clients, I make them pay more tax, which is sort of reversed, and people, nobody wants to pay more tax, but obviously you make more money, make more sales, make more profit, you're going to pay more tax. So I would be that I'm the person that's going to get you to make more tax, not the other way around. So you can use little hooks like that, perhaps. But I think it's finding a tag line that explains to your target market fundamentally what it is you do, not what we do as a coach. I think it's what are the consequences of what we do, the outcomes. I think that's what people are really interested in. But again, any other thoughts on that? Phil, Kev, Marie, any thoughts on that for you guys?
I had the pilot idea as well.
Did you go on? Did I nick it from you?
You got in there first, but mine was the naval pilot. Because when we were on warships, we'd have pilots come to get us into harbours, You know,
Oh, right, okay.
they were experts at the harbours, and it was like the analogy was going to be, you're the expert of the business that you do.
Yeah.
I'm the expert of business. So
there you go. Well, there you go. That works. That works. Yes, I don't like that.
Well, you can't know. You stole it. We didn't steal it. You got in there first.
I didn't know. You could be the tugboat driver or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I do like the taglines that the Navy keep coming up with. There was one for the Naval Air Service, so Fly Navy, which was having a go at the Air Force.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yes, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And the one that I have to say the Army and the Air Force have taken the mickey out of, which is Made in the Royal Navy.
MADE or MAID? What's that?
Well, the advert is MADE, and the other two call it. They dressed them up.
Right. Okay. That's enough information. That's great. Yeah, but it's interesting. I think these little sort of sign off, these little hooks, they do resonate. People do remember them. The Just Do It, the Nike, all the sort of thing, they do hang in there. But I think if it explains what it is we provide and how we do it and what the results are, then yeah, I think it should be good. Marie, do you have anything for you? Any sort of sign-offs or taglines that you would use for what you do?
Yeah, I think I'm like Claudia, like I've worked so much on it that I don't even know what I have.
Go full circle now.
But I found it, not surprisingly actually, I found it easier on the relationship side, because it's concrete, like it's really like it talks to people, while the other website, which is more like a general life coaching thing, I find it hard to kind of word it in a clever way. So for the relationship is write your own fairy tale. Okay. So that's what I, after a couple of tries, that's the last one. Okay, I double checked.
It's always work in progress. There's a fitness coach in the UK whose target market is specifically middle-aged men, basically trying to get them back into shape. And I think her tag, this might not be word for word, her tagline is let's get this right, it's something like getting your wife to sleep with the man of her dreams, or something like that. And of course, you have to get yourself in shape to become or remain the man of her dreams. And it's quite a sort of provocative tagline. It suggests all sorts of things, but I think that would spur people into action, I would have thought. But it's really clear what she's saying is she wants sort of overweight, unfit, middle-aged people who are married, and there's maybe a danger of the relationship floundering, I don't know, get in shape before you lose her, that sort of thing. It's a very strong message, but she termed it in a very, what I thought was a very clever way. And Lynn's referred me, so I'll let you know how it goes. But they can be sort of slightly provocative on these sort of taglines as well, to filter out people, to let them know this is what we stand for as well. So okay, very good. Any other thoughts, questions, observations, or points for this evening? Excellent. Okay, well, thank you for participating. Great to see you all. I'll get it recorded, downloaded. I'll ping it over to Gareth, can have a look at it. We're back next week. I'm back in the office now, so I get the invitation out a bit earlier this time for next week round. So I'll see you same time, same channel next week. Have a great week in the meantime, and thank you for being here. Good to see you. Bye for now.
Everybody.
All right,
Bye.
see you soon.
Thanks.
Take
See
care.
you guys.
Bye.